Much has been said about Velma being the unsung hero of Mystery Inc., the Scooby-Doo sleuth who's never been given her chance to truly shine. But while it's true, the character in most of her iterations has typically played second fiddle to the rest of the cast, HBO Max's Velma proves exactly why the character, at least in this version, isn't ready for the spotlight.
A serial killer calling from inside my house? Yes, that's a classic, and that's my point. Why change anything when the classics all still work, right?
Mindy Kaling lends her voice to a version of Velma who's a far cry from her original portrayal. Clocking in at 10 half-hour episodes, the first 8 of which were provided for review, this animated prequel is full of raunchy laughs and some funny story beats, but its insistence on reinventing Velma as a sarcastic, self-loathing outsider prevents it from becoming the genre-disrupting adult comedy it aspires to be.
The only word I had to describe my disgust is jinkies.
Instead, it feels like a biting, hateful version of Daria without the character growth. This notably Scooby-Doo-less series follows teen Velma Dinkley as she attends Crystal Cove High School while a serial killer is on the loose. Their target? Attractive girls. When Velma is accused of a murder she didn't commit, she tackles the case to clear her name. The only problem? She has a mystery of her own that needs solving: the disappearance of her mother. In this animated series, Velma isn't just a spunky, sarcastic teen who wants to fight the patriarchy and solve mysteries. She's also kind of a jerk.
Wait, you're inside my house!
When she isn't complaining or putting someone down, she's a veritable quip machine who never runs out of sardonic remarks that never feel as pointed as she believes they are.
Oh, sorry I'm not a drunk on the verge of losing custody like every other woman solving murders these days.
She's quick to judge others based on their looks and social status. And even though it's easy to understand why she might behave this way after internalizing years of feelings of misogyny and inadequacy, her perpetually grating wisecracks make her difficult to watch, let alone empathize with. The series itself does seem to be self-aware enough to recognize these qualities about Velma, but it's unclear if this is deliberate or an attempt to make viewers laugh at her shortcomings. She isn't the only character to have undergone an odd transformation. Shaggy, who goes by his birth name, Norville, in the series and is voiced by Sam Richardson, starts off as little more than a wannabe paramour. His only concern is wooing Velma, and when he isn't actively trying to get her attention, he's scheming to make himself look attractive to her. This is a plot thread that's later subverted, but the shtick wears itself out long before then. Luckily, the humor doesn't really rely on Velma's jokes or Norville's jarring new personality to work. This is Scooby-Doo through the same adult lens that made DC's Harley Quinn series such a hit. And when it works extremely well. Daphne Blake and Fred Jones are characters many Scooby-Doo fans have written off as vapid, privileged teens, especially in the classic series. Funnily enough, in Velma, they end up becoming the most interesting members of the cast. Daphne is a wickedly smart and funny member of the popular crowd who's looking for her birth parents. Constance Wu is absolutely hilarious as the flame-haired cool girl and would have made a fantastic front woman. Glenn Howerton, meanwhile, gives the best portrayal of Fred the animated Scooby universe has ever seen. Simultaneously selfish, boyish, and adamantly stupid, he's given some of the funniest lines of the entire show.
I have an illness!
There's a psychopathic lilt to him that always seemed to simmer below the surface in every version of Fred, and Howerton elevates this personality trait in ways that make for some side-splitting situations. For those hoping Velma would give the character space to explore her sexuality, given her recent unambiguous portrayal as a gay woman, the series does get this mostly right. At the very least, it gives Velma and Daphne's relationship a chance to blossom, even if it isn't a perfect one.
My name is Velma Dinkley, and I've decided to finally share the bone-chilling events that drove me to assemble the greatest team of spooky mystery solvers ever.
Velma is an often funny take on the classic Scooby-Doo series with plenty of risque humor. But it's unfortunate that most of what makes Velma funny is completely unrelated to the character who gets the starring role. This show likely came about because of fans who have always wanted more of the teenage super solver. Ironically, the series would be exponentially better without its namesake, or at least a version of her with a bit more character growth. For more TV reviews, check out what we thought of The Witcher, Blood Origin, and Sonic Prime. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
You know what 420 is, right?
Yeah, it's code for adults who still watch cartoons.